Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Dating After Divorce podcast. I'm Shade Curry. Today, we are talking about how to know when and if you should go exclusive with someone. And I'm really just riffing on some sessions that I've had in the last week with 3 of my clients who are all seriously considering going exclusive with some of the people that they are seeing. So I teach my clients to not commit really until they are sure that the relationship is viable, and to take their time in evaluating someone. Now, this is not the same thing as keeping someone sort of like hanging or drawing them out or pretending you're not seeing someone or all of those weird things. No, this is sort of like an interview process, right? Like if you were hiring for a particular position, you would have several rounds of interviews and you would talk to the different candidates about all the different things, and you would take your time and you would evaluate each candidate, some of them dropping off, as time went on, as the interview stages moved up. Some people would drop by the wayside because you would have verified that they were definitely not the person for you. And so that's basically what this process looks like. And I have really 3 of my clients who have had to seriously consider whether or not to go exclusive with someone. So they're at the stage of the dating process where they're just they've figured out how to. The word attract is, what most people use, but it's really a very practical process. It's sort of like how companies need to attract good talent, okay? But it's not like some kind of magical process. It's really very practical. You do things a certain way. What you put out, how you evaluate, brings in a certain type of person. And so they've gone through those early iterations. They understand the dating process. They literally at this point know how to meet more of those kinds of people, but they've now met a whole string of them, and some of them have just been so close to what they wanted. And actually one of these 3 clients sent me a text over the weekend that she had made her decision and she was now exclusive with one of the men. And I'm happy to say it was the one that I was rooting for. So yay. I don't pick your person for you, but I just help you meet a whole ton of that kind of person so that you can choose. But I always have my favorites as my clients tell me who they're dating. I'm like, I heard this. And like for them, what I see for them or what I know of them, they're just certain candidates that I root for, kind of like the reality TV shows. But I never tell them like, this is the person, unless I see clear danger. If they are dating someone that appears to be toxic or unhealthy or, unsafe in some way, I will always tell the truth. Like, hey, this is what I'm seeing. I really don't feel like this person is a safe person. And so I ask a lot of questions. So at this stage, I'm asking a lot of questions just to verify that my clients have asked the right questions, they have evaluated the right things, they're no longer operating from fairy tale thinking, but also neither are they operating from having a high tolerance for low effort relationships. They've really gotten to know themselves really well. They have a clear understanding of what they need in a relationship. They know what's practical. They know what the road ahead looks like. And they know what to evaluate to really be able to tell that this person is who they want to go exclusive with. Now, going exclusive does not guarantee that that relationship ends at the altar, right? Because there's still like deeper layers you go into with that person. But at the very least, you've established that this person wants a commitment, wants to go exclusive with you, and you also want to go exclusive with them. And you've gotten some. At this point, it's no longer just basic information. And I'll talk about that information in just a second. But like this stage is like the ending. We're getting to like the last 20% of the work that I do with my clients. So in the last week, I've had several conversations about this. I think one client ended up saying a yes to one of the guys. One client, I think at this point, we have a meeting today, we'll see. But at this point, she is considering a no to the man that she was thinking about going exclusive with. And then the other client is sort of on the fence about, we're still working through it. Like, because this is a big deal. Who you choose after a divorce is a big deal. Like, you don't want to make the same mistake again. And you really want to take your time but you don't want to be in indecision. And so that's one of the things I want to talk about. What are the things that keep people from being able to get to this stage of going exclusive? And when they do get there, what are some of the challenges that they face, right? And one of the things that can keep you from getting to this stage is not being super grounded in what you want, not being very clear about what you want to be experiencing in a relationship. So in the early stages of working with me, some of my clients come to me and they are still like in a lot of fairy tale thinking. They think they have a type, right? Except that that type has never turned out to be what they were looking for all of these years. Their type is things that are superficial or things that actually don't matter in a relationship, or they think that if they get their type, that means that they have to let go of some solid characteristics that they need in a relationship. That if I get my type and he's 6'5" with wavy hair and wealthy or whatever, that means he's going to be a jerk. And I have to decide whether I'm going to be with a jerk. Like, it's all of that is just fairy tale thinking, fueled by the media, fueled by conditioning and the cultural narrative, right? So when women work with me, we get down to brass tacks of figuring out what are the ingredients of a healthy relationship. One of those ingredients is chemistry. It is attraction, but we really break down attraction for the client. Like, I break it down and we have exercises, and then they do practical things, and they observe themselves and they observe the people that they're dating to really understand all of the elements of attraction. So we've been conditioned to really just look for one element of attraction, which is the physical attraction, right? Or the attractiveness of the person. And sometimes that overtakes everything else. But true attraction that lasts for a lifetime, includes sexual attraction, includes the chemistry, but it includes like 6 other things. And I have an episode on understanding attraction. So if you haven't listened to that episode, you can go back and listen to it. There are more than one element that leads to that. And in fact, you can have 4 or 5 of those elements, and those 5 elements will trigger the chemistry that you are looking for. But that's a whole other thing. Because sometimes people will hear that and then they will date someone who is nice and kind and good, but then they are not attracted to them at all. If you're not physically attracted to someone, I'm digressing into the attraction conversation, but I'm going to pause here for a second. If someone has all the characteristics you want and you are not physically attracted to them, then that means they don't have all the characteristics you want. That actually means that there is something about that person that is not compatible with you, or that is not good for you. Like, literally, they have like, not just like a physical thing, they probably have an emotional thing or a personality thing that is not compatible with you. And so when I work with my clients, we really break down, I'm holding up air quotes, what their quote unquote type is from a more scientific, practical point of view, so that they can choose someone who is physically attracted to them and has all the elements that they need for a viable relationship. And so when a person is not grounded in that, like what you really want, it can make it really hard to decide whether or not to go exclusive, because you're still confused about what you're attracted to. You're still confused about what you want. And so now you've been seeing this person for 2, 3, 4, 5 months, and then you have no idea whether they're good for you or not. Or you might still be tolerating toxic relationships. You might still be tolerating low effort relationships. So the fear of letting that person go and being alone, which if you are following my process, you won't be alone, because we would have built you a roster of 3 to 5 guys that you are choosing from, and we're slowly elevating the quality of those guys until you have like, oh, wow, I could really marry any of these people, right? So if you are in that place where you're like holding on to someone for fear that there will be no one else coming down the pike, that will keep you from, going exclusive with anyone, because you're in this like stopgap relationship hoping to find someone along the way. It just really doesn't work that way. You have to evaluate each person for who they really are without the fear of making the mistake. In fact, you have to know that the process you are in is the process that keeps you from making a mistake, so that you are super confident when you let someone go, and you are super confident when you say yes to someone. Another thing that keeps people from getting to the stage or from thriving at the stage of going exclusive is they have wasted time in the early stages of dating, like just enjoying the attention of that person and going on dates, but not gathering the information that they needed to make a decision, like almost like making an assumption that the relationship was going to work out. So I have talked to women who will have dated someone for 3 or 4 months and have no idea about that person's political ideologies. Like, that's kind of important, right? Like they have no idea about the person's values, or they have no idea about the person's financial situation, or their job situation, or their family situation. Like, how have you been dating for 16 weeks and not gotten this information? And I get it. Sometimes it's uncomfortable to ask. Sometimes it's uncomfortable to have the conversations, and you may not know how to ask or the appropriate time to ask. And these are all things that I help my clients with. Like, we're going every step of the way, moving things forward, asking the right questions in the right way, without being a drill sergeant, but also without shrinking back from engaging in what really matters along this relationship journey. So if you're wasting time going on the most romantic dates and flying in the private jets and, enjoying the sunsets, that's amazing. And I want that for you. I really do. However, that could be a distraction from the actual substance. Like, is this person kind? Is this person loving? Does this person share my values? Does this person share my lifestyle? Does this person share my future goals? Is this person on the same relationship timeline that I am? Is this person's money habits, are they compatible with mine? Or are we going to be able to negotiate something in between? Like, are we having those conversations that let us know that, yeah, what we have is going to work? Okay. So wasting time, not getting the information needed can really, really hamper you at this stage. Then there's the fear of offending the other person if you ever have to say no. If you ever have to say, hey, we've been together, we've gone on like 6 or 7 dates, and I really appreciate your time, but I don't think we're a match. The fear of having to say that has many women not dating people beyond the first or second date if they're not sure that person is their husband. But you can't be sure that person is going to be your husband in 2 dates. There's no way to know. But a lot of women are afraid of, quote unquote, stringing the person along. Right. And I'll often have to help them define these terms for themselves, because they're taking the definition of these terms from their friends or from the show that they watched, or just not wanting to, they just don't want to be a bad person. And if somebody out there says that this is bad, then they feel like they're a bad person. But what does it really mean to string someone along? Right? How can you date someone and be in integrity about where the relationship is, so that you give it enough time to become what it could be? And if it doesn't work out, trusting that that other person is responsible for themselves, and that that other person understands what dating is all about. So many women will allow themselves to be pressured into a relationship way too quickly, because they're like, well, I've gone on 3 dates with him and he's ready to go exclusive, and it would be mean. And he said he's not seen anyone else. And so I have to not see anyone else. No, that's not how it works. You are an adult, you're a grown woman, you're a sovereign human being. And your process is your process. The time that you need is the time that you need. And I was not about to say the time that I give you, the time that you need. My client who has now gone exclusive with the person that I think is just such a lovely man for her, she took actually a longer time than I would have recommended to make her decision to go exclusive. And it turned out beautifully because that person was willing to let her figure it out. And that's just how amazing, actually, both men who made it to top of the pile, they were super interested and both willing to wait until she figured it out. So you can't miss the person who's for you. Now, there is a timeline that, makes it reasonable, and that those are things that you define and we can talk about and negotiate sort of along the way. But if you're afraid of taking that time and eventually saying no to someone, then you will say no too quickly and potentially with the wrong person. Or you will hold on to everyone and not want to tell anyone no, and maybe lose everyone. So developing the confidence, the assertiveness, the trust in other humans to be adults, and the trust in yourself to make the right decision for you is something that is needed along the way. And of course, this isn't something that you can really develop ahead of time. Like you can develop like the foundation of it ahead of time, but it's really when you're in the process that this comes up. Like I always talk about how some things need to be healed and some skills need to be developed while you are in the process. It's like on the job training. This is one of those things. And that when it comes up, it's always like, oh my God, can I survive this? Everyone survives this stage. And then the last thing that can keep you from going exclusive is the constant wondering if there's someone else out there who might be better. Now, there are a couple of reasons why this might be happening. The person that you're considering going exclusive with might not be right for you. So if you are wondering if there's someone out there who might be better, it is possible that that thought has been triggered because deep down, you know that this isn't the person for you, but you don't want to tell them no. But at the back of your mind, you're wondering if there's someone else out there. The other reason this might be happening is just FOMO, just the FOMO, which is like a new disease that we all have because of social media, where we are taking in so much information. We are seeing so many different types of lifestyles. We are seeing, we have like, I don't know, millions of friends on the internet. And so now there's like this indecision because it's like, well, what if I didn't check out all the millions of people? What about all the other people on the apps? What if there's someone better for me? Like, right? And so I have a process that I take my clients through. And really, we start this process right from the beginning where we work on the ideal partner worksheet. And so we're constantly revisiting that and saying, hey, does this person match what you wanted in a realistic way? If they match what you wanted, but you're still not sure that they want for you, what do you think is missing? And we just keep going along those questions over and over until my client is able to be certain that, okay, nothing's missing. This is just my brain having FOMO. It's just anxiety. I'm good to go. Or as we deep dive into that stage, they discover that there is something missing. There is something that they wanted that they didn't think about, or there is something about this person that makes the relationship not viable. So this is like a lot of exploration. I think a lot of times when we're dating, because of the cultural expectation that you should just know how to do this, that this isn't a big deal, we're under pressure to make these decisions without enough information, without enough self-exploration, without enough self-reflection. And it's one of the things that I really help my clients do is slow it down and do the appropriate self-reflection so that you are certain, you feel certainty, right? Just as you are certain, you know your name, you can be certain that this person is for you. And so that's what's required to go exclusive. Like you need to be at that place. Again, you can't get to that place without doing like the early parts of the process. But this is just a taste of what comes ahead. I'm really excited about my 3 clients who are like in the thick of this and who are doing amazing. I think they are my first. Everyone else went exclusive right at the end of last year. So these 3 clients are my first, you could say my first crop of like, yay, we're exclusive in the first 3 months of the year. So I am super stoked about that. And I just wanted to share my thoughts and sort of like the things that happen at this stage with you. I hope this was useful for you. I hope this gives you a glimpse into what's coming up for you as you continue on your dating journey. Again, if you would like to accelerate your dating journey with a coach, with me, because I have been through this, I have done all the stages and I have led my clients through all of the stages. It will help you go faster. It will help you have a sounding board. It will help you have accountability to actually get this done. It will also help you have all of the information curated and at your fingertips exactly when you need it. So I encourage you to please reach out to me if this is something that you want. Like, let's talk about either working with me one-on-one or working with me in my group coaching community, and we can get you enrolled ASAP. Okay, the link to do that is in the show notes. Also in the show notes is a link to join my email list because I have a webinar coming up that I talked about earlier this week on the 7 texts you need to be sending frequently in order to meet your life partner. Like these are not like the flirty, playful, say something to make him, feel sexy or whatever. These are like the texts that help you move your journey forward, right? The texts that help you get that conversation going, the texts that help you get the first phone call, the texts that help you get the first date, all those texts that help you move forward in your journey. I will be sharing them on a webinar. So I encourage you to join my email list so that when I announce the dates within the next week or week and a half, you will be in the know and not missing. Okay, thank you for your time and attention today. I appreciate it, and I will see you next time.